This is the WWE Monday Night Raw December 9th, 2024 full show results video which takes place at Intrust Bank Arena in Wichita, Kansas. Gunther makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he says he's not losing his title at Saturday night's main event, and Judgment Day interrupts him. Finn Balor says Gunther's messing around and giving title shots to undeserving folks like Dominic Mysterio and talks about how he's responsible for the ring general keeping the title through the last couple defenses, and that means he's going to walk out of Saturday night's main event as the new World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther talks about when Finn won the inaugural Universal Championship and how he looked up to Balor at that time, but that faded away as he started cutting corners and taking shortcuts, hanging out with a bunch of weirdos in a clubhouse and choosing to play second fiddle to Damian Priest. So here they are, standing across from each other with no respect left, figuratively and literally looking down on Finn. 8 years ago, Gunther says, he was the best in the world for one night and he's the best in the world right now and for thousands of days to come, and the title proves it. He says Balor isn't on his level and never will be, and that prompts Judgment Day to get up on the apron, but Damian Priest comes out to even the odds. Judgment Day get run off and Gunther and Priest brawl and the ring general clears the announce desk, but Balor pops up and hits a sling blade on the champion. Shotgun dropkick into the steel steps, taking Priest into the ring, coup de grace on Gunther on the floor as his Judgment Day cronies attack Damian in the ring. Priest takes them out one at a time, Finn slides in and hits the inverted headlock elbow drop, letting the rest of Judgment Day beat him down, hits coup de grace on Priest, and other one, and third one too. Back from the commercial, Judgment Day are celebrating backstage when Adam Pearce rolls up and he says Gunther has gotten the title match at Saturday night's main event changed, it'll now be a three-way with Damian Priest involved. Finn Balor says that's fine, it'll be more satisfying to beat both of them, and Adam also says next week they'll have a tag title match against War Raiders with the rest of Judgment Day banned from ringside. This makes them rather less happy and Liv Morgan gives a pep talk and asks if he has any advice from Finn so they can win, and he begs off for a couple minutes to think about it. Then we saw a match between Final Testament and The Miz vs Wyatt 6, and the result of this match was Final Testament and Miz defeated Wyatt 6 when Scarlett runs interference and Nikki Cross appears behind her and takes her out with a plancha. Howdy catches Carrion in the Sister Abigail facelock, Miz makes the save and gets put in the mandible claw, Paul Ellering comes with a handful of powder to turn the tide, and Karrion Kross hits the final prayer on Uncle Howdy to pin. We get a CM Punk sit-down interview filmed earlier today and he doesn't want to talk about the favor Paul Heyman owes him, saying it's a personal thing. He doesn't shy from a fight, but Seth Rollins' hatred confuses him, because he doesn't hate Seth at all. Their history goes back quite a bit, to a 16-year-old Rollins asking him to train him for free, which is the key part of the story everyone leaves out. That entitlement has carried over to the adult Seth Rollins, who wants to be the best in the world, but he remembers a time when he was about to be fired and he shielded Seth from that. If he had to live in his shadow he'd hate him too, and everything Rollins has done he did better and first. That 16-year-old kid had all the potential in the world, and in his absence he did a wonderful job filling that spot, but now the starter is back and the second stringer's gotta go back on the bench. The next match happened between Dakota Kai vs Liv Morgan, and the result of this match was Liv Morgan defeated Dakota Kai by pinfall with Oblivion. Post-match, Io Sky and Kairi Sane arrive to save Dakota Kai from Pure Fusion Collective, leading by Sonya Deville, and Kairi takes them all out with a diving crossbody, but Morgan hits Oblivion on Io. A Drew McIntyre video promo follows where he talks about losing to CM Punk at Bad Blood and how he had to go be with his family and fought long and hard on if he was wrong and people can change, when he turned Survivor Series on and saw the original Bloodline standing together, selling themselves out to Roman Reigns for absolutely nothing. That's when he knew he had to come back and take out Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. Seth Rollins is shown walking backstage, and we see Tiffany Stratton chatting with Adam Pearce in the background. We see Cody Rhodes leaving Adam Pearce's office as New Day walk past, and Rhodes flags them down and says they've known each other for a long, long time, and they both should be ashamed of themselves. Seth Rollins makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he tells CM Punk that when his days are done in the ring he's got a career as a politician, and that interview is a masterclass in spinning the truth to play the victim, and Punk has been doing that his entire life. He's a fraud and a con man, and if you want the truth about him and CM Punk, he'll tell you. He's right, he did go to Punk and ask him to train him, he idolized and respected Punk and they were friends, and the part CM leaves out will tell you why that changed. When CM Punk walked out the doors of this company 11 years ago, he called him and texted him because he was a friend and he respected him, and what did he get back? Nothing. And for the next 10 years, all Punk did was try to take this company down, taking any potshot he could, and he only walked back in here because he failed at everything else and burned every single bridge and the money was right. Eventually he realized he's better than Punk, and everything CM has done, he's done twice, plus the one thing he's never done, main eventing WrestleMania. Sami Zayn interrupts him and Seth tells him if he came out here to defend Punk again, they're fighting again, because he doesn't have time for it. Zayn says last week they both got angry and said some things and fought, and that's bound to happen when you've known each other as long as they have. He admits it was wrong of him to assume that Seth dropped Jey Uso backstage and he wants to apologize. Rollins admits that stuck in his craw this past week, given how close they are, their kids play together, that Sami jumped right to accusing him doesn't sit right with him. Zayn says he didn't sound right last week, he sounded like the kind of guy who points fingers and thinks he has the only moral clarity around here. In other words, he sounded like Drew McIntyre. Seth forcefully says he's not Drew McIntyre and Zayn says he isn't, he's better, but this thing with CM Punk brings out the worst in him. And maybe he shouldn't have gotten involved last week, so he's out here to say this thing is clearly worse than he thought possible and it's business to deal with it however he likes, and Rollins thanks him for that. Sami asks if they are personally good and Seth chews it over for a minute before saying they're good and says just like he needs to handle his business with Punk, Zayn has to handle his business with Drew, and he leaves. Sami stays in the ring and says he's not gonna sit here and listen to McIntyre week after week, he's going to end this as quickly as it started, and he's already spoken to Adam Pearce, and the match is official for Saturday night's main event. Drew blindsides Sami on the ramp and lays him out on the stage and beating him down, road agents and referees swarm to break it up. Then we saw a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship Tournament first round match between Ivy Nile vs Lyra Valkyria vs Zelina Vega, and the result of this match was Lyra Valkyria won the match by pinfall with Nightwing on Ivy Nile. Then we see Rhea Ripley working out backstage when Damian Priest rolls up to give her a two-word pep talk. Back from the commercial, New Day are interviewed and Kofi Kingston is upset at the phrasing of the question and Xavier Woods says this won't be an unbiased interview so they want to talk to the people face to face. Woods takes a camera from a camera operator and we walk with New Day through the back and Gorilla and out to the stage and to the ring, where Xavier relinquishes the camera. Kingston is upset at the crowd booing them after 10 years of positivity and he claims they didn't even do anything to Big E, that they could have taken a sledgehammer to his back and so on, but soon enough the overwhelming boos get to them and they leave. In the main event of the show, we saw an Anything Goes match between Raquel Rodriguez vs Rhea Ripley. During the match, Liv Morgan did so much interference, and attacks as well, but Io Sky comes to handle Liv Morgan, and in the end, Rhea Ripley defeated Raquel Rodriguez by pinfall with Riptide through a table. Post-match, Rhea and Io both trying to take the Women's World Championship, and the show goes off the air. Let me know in the comments section whether you like this week's Monday Night Raw or not. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe the channel, like video, stay tuned for the more wrestling updates and thanks for watching the video.